there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up.
This is not a test.
All right, everybody, welcome to Disclosure TV. I hope you can hear me. Let me move this out of my way, and hopefully that I'll hide that. Hopefully everybody is hearing me. I hope I got everything fixed, and I hope everybody is having a good night. So let me see if I can't turn my microphone up just a hair. All right. I know it's probably a little low. It may be me. Yeah, let me turn that up a little. So we're going to add some gain to our microphone. See if that doesn't help at all. For some reason, last time I had an issue, but you know what? Issues happen. I'm trying to get back to live streaming, especially when things like today happen, or technically in yesterday, I think, maybe yesterday night sometime, maybe. So anyway, welcome back. It's Disclosure TV back in the house. Finally, it sounds like everything's working. So if you don't know, we do have our Discord up and running halfway. We've got a few topics on there, and I'll show you that real quick. So if you're looking at the screen right now, I want to pop that up for you and stretch that out. If you look at it, we have all kinds of topics. I'll put a link in the Discord, or I'll put a link on my Twitter. It's Disclosuretv _. And I'll put a link on there, an invite. It's only good for 24 hours or 100 uses. So if you look at our Discord right now, I'm going to blow it up a little more for you. So voice channels, We have voice channels, UFO talk, political talk, Cascadia, space, military talk, public. I want y'all to know that that particularly is for the public. That's military public talk. We also have a section for our live shows until we can get a better system to do call-ins. I'm going to try to do that tonight. So if you come onto the Discord, I'll try to my best to get you on the air. So I'll try my best. And we don't have a screener right now, so we need to do that. Like I said, we're up and running. We're only 436 subscribers strong, and I'm trying to get it to 1,000. So there's a section marked topics message board only, which is just messages and chat basically. That has the most in it. It has like UFO, climate change, FEMA, public military, military private, which is sorry to say, but if you're the public, you can't go in there. General politics, space, technology, AI, earthquakes, volcanoes, chem, contrails. I know I'm saying all this stuff, and it's probably going to get blocked, and sorry. Planet X, general government, science, researchers, scientists and researchers. That's a section for scientists and researchers to share the work with the subscribers and to share what they know and give them a chance to get their information out. There's a section for videos only. There's a section for pole shift. There's a section for documents. So if you have any documents you want to publish, go there. Like, if you have CIA or FBI documents, even UFO documents, you can publish UFO documents either there or in the UFO section. It don't matter to me. So, and then the last one is Cascadia Subduction Zone. Now, if you all see something that, that's not on there that you all want, by all means, put it on there, and we'll put it. We'll make it a topic. So, yeah, the Discord is the. I just started this. I don't know how it's going to work out. I hope it does. So, there's a code of conduct section, how to, all that, and hopefully we can make it there. So, like I said, I'm going to put an invite on there for everybody. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that. Let's create an invite. So it's doing a hidden invite link because I'm live right now. So let's go put this on Twitter. Sorry. My keyboard letters stick sometimes. I don't know why they do that. So, that, like I said, I just put that on there. I've got like 3 monitors, so. And I'm trying to upgrade a lot of things. I upgraded my computer, my laptop, everything, my internet speed, everything, just so I could get back on here and do what I like doing. Alright, so anyway, let's get back to it. I'll try to get, if you want to get on here and call, get on Discord and send me a message, private message, and I will actually call you, and hopefully it picks up through my computer system, and you should be able to hear anything you say on YouTube. So I'm hoping that's how that works. So we'll do that. Alright, so if anybody is wondering what this show is going to be about, the thumbnail should give it to you about what happened over the last few days. That started out. It started out. If you don't see it up there to the right-hand corner, it started out. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was attacked, and a few soldiers were injured. There was casualties. There were, it was like, HC's Ghazi's thing all over again, and that shouldn't have happened. I mean, they should have learned from that the first time. So what happened? Of course, everybody already knows. The U.S. decided to take on the commander, the basically most popular general of the Ryanian forces in Ryan, and as a matter of fact, Maryland did a poll. Maryland, a university in Maryland. I think it was the University of Maryland did a poll, and the Ryanian general is actually the most famous general in the world right now. So he's the most famous, the most well known. He has more power than, more than likely, he has more power than the leader of Ryan. And it's and a thought had crossed my mind when all this started going on is how was the U.S. able to track him? Well, of course they have a lot of technology and satellites, and they probably had somebody tailing him, but the guy was he was basically headed to foreign countries trying to set up attacks on the United States through other foreign governments, and basically they said he was caught right in the middle of that. So right now what I'm going to do, if you haven't seen it, is I'm going to show you the video of what Trump said earlier today about the Ryanian general and what happened. And I guess that's not going to be loud enough.
Under my leadership, America's policy is unambiguous to terrorists who harm or intend to harm any.
Here, we'll start it all over. And sorry about that. I guess that's not going to be loud enough.
Well, thank you very much, and
Under
good
my
afternoon.
leadership, America's policy is
As president, my
unambiguous to
highest and
terrorists
most solemn duty
who
is
harm
the
or
defense
intend
of
to
our
harm
nation
any.
and its citizens. Last night, at my direction, the United States military successfully executed a flawless precision strike that killed the number one
America's policy
terrorist
is
anywhere in the
president,
world.
my highest and
Terrorist
most solemn duty
Qasem
who harm
is
or
the
intend
Solomon
to
of our
harm
nation and its
Soleimani
citizens.
was plotting
Last night at my direction,
imminent and
the United
sinister
States
attacks on
military
American
successfully
diplomats and military personnel.
executed a flawless
But we caught
precision
him. Thank you very
strike
much.
that killed
The
the
number
nation
one
and
terrorist
as
anywhere in
president
the
of
world.
the highest, most solemn duty,
Under my
Solemn
leadership,
declaration.
America's policy
And
is
its
Soleimani was
ambiguous to
plotting
terrorists. Last night at my direction,
imminent
harm or
and
intended
sinister
harm
attacks
on
on
American
American
diplomats and military personnel.
We will find you, but we
flawless
will
precision
eliminate
strike
you.
that killed the
And we'll
number
always
one
protect our diplomats.
I'm gonna mute that. It basically, it's trying to capture two things, two audios at the same time. So it's trying to capture that and output another audio. So sorry about that. So sorry about that. So anyway, DT DT basically set up for this to happen. He set up for all this to happen. Well, what ended up happening was they, like I said, they followed the guy, and he was in the midst of doing something he shouldn't have been doing. However, he had the I think his name's Qasimi Soleimani, Qasim Soleimani, and basically, he had more power than the leader of Ryan, and it was for them to be able to be where they're at, and for Ryan to even be able to get a hold of that guy, and for him to be in a position to where the United States could do that. Knowing all that, it crossed my mind that the leader of Ryan could have possibly went along with what the United States was getting ready to do, basically because what leader wouldn't be threatened by such by power such as Qasim Soleimani. I'm going to say this, but the H-man in Germany did the exact same thing. He did the exact same thing. He took over the military. Once he got the military's support, he was able to jump right into the government and take it all over. And that's exactly what he did. So, was the leader of Ryan? Could he have possibly had his hand in it? Because more people supported Ryan's military leader than they did the actual leader of Ryan. I know they did. And he was more famous. People basically worshiped the guy. So basically, that crossed my mind. Now, it's, like I said, how there was a lot of things that had to go for him to be in the right spot at the right time. Especially, how did they get the information of where he was going, what street he was going to be on? Like I said, of course he could have had a tail. He could have had a tail. But we have satellites, we have technology. We have technology that's so advanced, it's 50 years more advanced than what the public has. And so what you have to think about is the two scenarios, which is the U.S. actually did do it, and they done it on their own accord, or they had help from the Ryanian government, the Ryanian leadership, because the Ryanian general Qasim Soleimani, I can't say his name right. The Iranian general was getting more power than the Ryanian leader, and that was a known fact that he was. And like I said, the last person to do that exact thing was back in 1941. Germany. Uh, I'm not going to say his name, but H man in Germany, uh, he did the exact same thing. He took over the military. Like I said, he took over Germany's military. Everybody loved him. Everybody worshipped him. And finally, he just took the military, stomped into Germany, and said, "I'm taking over," basically. And that was basically, and that was what thought came to my head. Why would Ryan not protect such a powerful person and let him out in the open in basically two cars? He was just in a little car, and that's it. He wasn't in anything else, not a convoy, not anything. Just like two cars. One of them was a Camry. It was a Camry. So basically, that's the big news going on right now. And, everybody wants to know what's happening out of it. everybody thinks President DT is a bad guy for doing it. I don't know whether he's a bad guy or not for doing it. CNN is just focusing basically on what they've been focusing on, and that's trying to destroy the president in the first place. So they're attacking the one side from the Democrats' perspective, and a lot of people are asking why he did that. Well, it's 2020. This is his last year. It's about ready to be election time. Heads are getting ready to butt this year with a lot of people. So presidents, U.S. presidents, or any president, if they're not well liked and their poll numbers aren't the best, they like to go into a conflict their last year, because very rarely does a leadership change in the middle of a conflict. President Bush is an example of that. Both of them are really. Those are great examples of that. So right now I'm gonna bring up a video like I promised. I was one of the few to report it on my Twitter. If you follow my Twitter, I'm constantly on there. Constantly. I report the news all the time on Twitter. And I try to help out Marfugal News and giving him as much information as I can. So what I'm going to show you is the drone attack. So this is a video of the drone attack from, I'm going to show you two videos from the drone attack from a security camera, and then the one where it actually came from the drone, the U.S. drone. So Qasim Soleimani, both videos are, I didn't show the other one because all the YouTube's new laws and policies, and I'm not doing all that. So this is the first video. This is the first video, so I'm going to show you that one from the security camera. And there is another video I forgot to put on here, but it shows a video from far away, about a mile away from the area. Now this video only shows one missile was fired, and That's not true. There were over 10 separate explosions. Now, even if it was one vehicle, the gas tank would have exploded during this. So that would have been the only explosion there was. Maybe a battery, but that's it. So so I'm not going to count the gas tank as a separate explosion. It would have exploded right then. So there were 10 separate explosions, and that I could only assume that either more than one missile was fired, or there was a team waiting right there in that area. So, like I said, there's something more to that story than there is. And if I could pull up the video, I'll show you. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it for you. And the video is the video actually shows. Whoa. The video actually shows probably a mile away. It's a mile away, and it shows at least 10 separate explosions. I guess I'm not going to be able to find it. Anyway, I'm sure all of you have seen the car and all that and the other video of the car on fire. But anyway, I wanted to show you this video right here. So, the next video I wanted to show you is the footage from the actual drone. So here's that footage.
Ready? And firing. He was.
So
Alright.
you see him right there in that one little bit of
Striker 3 Alpha Viper 6-1, missile fired at the object searching for BDA.
most famous.
Ready? And firing.
Basically, the most famous general, in the world, to be in one little bitty car by himself. And
He was.
Camry,
Alright.
that's what makes me think.
Striker 3 Alpha Viper 6-1, missile fired at the object searching for BDA. Ready? And firing.
So that right there is what makes me, that one car sitting there by itself, somebody basically got him alone. You know what I'm saying? That was a setup, and the only people that could set something like that up would have been the only person to be able to set that up to me would have been the the main leader of Ryan. I'm just saying. That's why that other thought came to my head. You know, that's why it came to my head. So that's, like I said, that's the other drone video. That's the U.S. military drone video. Now, not long, not long after that happened, another video was produced showing what I believe to be CIA propaganda. Which, if you look at my other videos, the CIA tends to create chaos and havoc in other countries, like they did in Venezuela. I actually have a video of CIA agents in a gunfight with pro-Maduro, I guess, pro-Maduro activists or military, and they were fighting them in the side of the street. And if you go look at one of my videos about Venezuela, you can see that. And you could tell they're straight up CIA, or straight up CIA military trained. You can tell they are. I even went as far as to identify the weapons that they had, and they were standard issue weapons by the military. So anyway, so I wanted to show you that, and I wanted to show you this other video of not long. This is one of the very first videos that came out in Iraq, or Ryak. I'll call it Ryak. This is one of the very first videos that came out in Ryak of they were the Ryaki people. The Ryaki people started parading in the street, and it didn't look well orchestrated, I guess. It was like it was thrown together really quickly. I mean, these people had a large flag, a large custom-made flag coming from all from one direction. A lot of people were saying this was a protest, but it wasn't. This wasn't a protest. This was the Ryaki people celebrating the death of Qassam Salam. I'm about ready to start calling the guy's name Qassam Salami. I mean, I don't like his name. So Qassam Salami, whatever. So to me, when I view this has CIA written all over it. CIA propaganda. This is basically the CIA's attempt at trying to create chaos. Now, what they would want to happen right here is basically they would want more people to join in on this, and they want people to record it so they can use it in the U.S. news media. Well, that's where it was used. It was used by Mike Pompeo. It was on his Twitter. He tweeted this video. U.S. mainstream media showed this video, and that's what they wanted. And basically what the CIA does, their tactics like this, basically they'll go to an elder or a leader in the community and pay them or do them a favor. It could be anything. They'll basically do that and get them to gather people up to do a demonstration or to create chaos such as this. That way it can be captured by the mainstream media, or it could be given to the mainstream media. Because right now, as you know, Ryan is reporting something totally different than the U.S. Mainstream media. Well, who do you go with? You go with the people who you are taught all your life is bad, or do you go with the U.S. Media, which you know is controlled by by the U.S. government? basically. And they use and the U.S. government basically uses news embargoes to control them, saying, "Hey, don't report this, don't show this. You're not allowed to show this right now. You can show it later. You can show it some other time. You can report it your on the internet, but you can't report it on TV." And yes, basically, when I was looking up journalism stuff, to investigate about journalists and journalism, and basically to help me through my channel, I learned a lot about journalism and even the CIA. What the crap was that? What the crap was that? Pardon me 1 second. Like a loud explosion and then a rumble. What the crap was that? I don't know what that was. But there was like a loud explosion and then a big rumble, and then I saw a flash of light back towards, I guess, the west. I don't know what that was. Sorry. So anyway, I wanted to show you all that. Now, that's what's happening in Ryan right now, and what do you all think's going on? If are we going to W hyphen A hyphen R, or is or do you think this may be just something that's going on that is just trying to keep DT president, or is it just another? To me, I'm gonna stay with the claim that it's just being used as a show. I mean, the U.S. keeps some other things are going on in the U.S. and some things are going on with our U.S. Government that's they're trying to hide, I believe, especially with sea change and the pole shift. There's a lot of things that are being hidden about that. So I wanted to talk about that. And then if any of you get on my Twitter at all, here, I'll go to my Twitter real quick. Some of the things I report on Twitter, like this one. This is troop movement. There's a lot of troop movement going on. 3,500 troops were sent from Fort Bragg Air Force Base 18 hours prior to the Ryanian commander basically being attacked. So I'll show you that. So I guess it didn't get put on there. Oh, I might have retweeted that to Marfugel. As a matter of fact, I did. But 18 hours before the U.S. attack in Iraq, basically they Fort Bragg told everybody they were headed to the Middle E, and right now, so far, according to Sky Tracker, I'm gonna by now it's been over 100 military aircraft have been sent across the ocean to the Middle East, and that there's some of those right there. So, and then the Ryanian military leader vowed to take out U.S. in the Middle East. Sorry, wiping out even Israel. Even wiping out Israel off the map. Israel is currently moving to the northern border of Iran. That was this morning. This video here that's playing that I tweeted out is Ryanian jets scrambling. As far as I know, they might have been going to the northern border where Israel was at. So what else I wanted to talk about before I get off here is a lot of people don't know this. On December 28th, 2019, 5.1 magnitude earthquake struck Ryan's first nuclear power plant near Bushehr, Iran. No info on any damage, but that makes like the 5th earthquake that's happened around a nuclear power plant. Most of them have been happening in the United States. There's been a lot of earthquakes happening around nuclear power plants. And not only that, I also wanted to show you all about what the USGS is not reporting, which most people don't know. I'm probably the only one that knows because I haven't heard anybody else mention it. But everybody thinks that over the last week and a half, there was 3 large magnitude quakes, a 6.2, a 6.0, and a 5.9. But there's not. There were 4. The other one didn't get reported and was reported by another agency that I use, which is the Canadian Geological Survey. So actually, there's on 12/25, there's your 6.2. 12/25, your 6.0. 12/23, a 5.9. and another one on 1223, a 6.0. All of them at a 5 kilometer depth. Basically, that's, I think, 10 miles, 9 miles, somewhere around there. So, and there was actually more than that. And that was in the Cascadia subduction zone. Now, if you haven't looked, if nobody hasn't looked at the latest USGS map, so if you haven't looked at the latest USGS map, a lot of people don't know about this, but if you click on all magnitudes, and we'll do a satellite version, and we'll do a satellite version of that, the actual imagery. Over the United States, if you look at all those orange dots, we'll clear that. If you look at all those orange dots, more and more earthquakes are happening around the Yellowstone area. And of course, there's the Yellowstone caldera area. And actually, you can see the caldera, but a lot of these are old volcanoes. They're ancient volcanoes from where Yellowstone actually, the caldera actually was, and then it moved. And then you look in the middle of the country near Arkansas and Kansas, more and more earthquakes are happening there, and those actually just started getting reported. Actually, just started happening at maybe at the beginning of 2018. Earthquakes started happening there, a lot of them, and now in Missouri. Around the New Madrid fault line, which is supposed to be the most dangerous fault line in the world, the most powerful. You know, it actually caused the Missouri River to run backwards at one point in time, and it actually changed what you're seeing now. If you look at it, if you look at this, if you look at the weird looking U shape right there, that earthquake caused all that to happen. It actually cut off part of Kentucky. Kentucky is on the other side of the Missouri River. There's a little piece of Kentucky on the other side of the Missouri River that got cut off because the river shifted. And it's happening more and more. It's happening more and more further east into the United States, like Tennessee, Texas, down by Georgia, lower Georgia, up into New York, and it's actually following. If you pay attention to it, it's actually following the North American craton. And if you go to Dutch Sense, he'll tell you that. And because I've investigated it myself, and I saw the same thing he did. So, and if you look right here, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about what the USGS is doing. The USGS is hiding all these earthquakes, if you don't know. So here's the map of the USGS. So I'm going to show you Canada's map. So I'm gonna show you, if I can find it. Okay, here it is. So I'm gonna show you Canada's earthquake map. It takes a while to get to it. So this is Canada's earthquake map compared to what the USGS reports. Now the USGS reports all over the world. I mean, they report anything. There's well over, I mean, there's well over 500,000 seismometers all over the planet. 100,000 of them are located in the Pacific Northwest alone in the United States. So it's not like they don't know. It's just that they don't report them. Now, they stopped reporting in Seattle and Oregon for a reason, because Seattle lost billions of dollars a few years back because researchers and scientists said that the Cascadia subduction zone was going to go off, and people started moving away. People are still moving away, but they lost billions of dollars in revenue and lost billions in tourist money. So Obama signed an order stating that basically if an earthquake or a natural event is going to cause that economic loss, the USGS doesn't have to report it. Now, I've talked to the Canadian Geological Survey myself, and they responded back to me. I'm just pulling up my email, sorry. So this is Allison Bird, Allison L. Bird, of earthquake seismologist from the Canadian Geological Survey. So I asked her a few questions, and one of my questions was, do you know, and it's that one right there. Hold on, sorry. So it's that one right. Crap. So it's this one right here in blue. Do you know of any pending event with the Cascadia subduction zone or the Juan de Fuca plate in the near future? And her response was, we are 100% certain that the Cascadia subduction zone will rupture in the future, but we cannot predict when. We can, however, forecast periods when the Cascadia subduction zone is somewhat more likely to rupture. In the weeks following an ETS event, if you don't know what an ETS event is, that's an episodic tremor event, like what's going on now. Now, that episodic tremor event happens every 14 months. It just so happens the last one's been happening for forever, since 2018, and I can pull that up and show you. But the episodic tremor event in the Pacific Northwest is happening, and basically they can tell by the ETS by what type of data they're gathering from the ETS event, basically that it's going to rupture. Now, over the last year, FEMA, the United States government, Canada, and I asked Canada this, Seattle, they've all been preparing for an event. Now, Now, the event, if the Cascadia ruptures, the shaking will last at least 4 minutes at a 9.0. Either way it goes, everything across the whole United States is going to be disrupted. Everything, every bit of infrastructure. If you haven't seen the movie How It Ends, basically that's basically what I mean. If there was going to be an account of a past historical event of the Cascadia subduction zone, that would probably be it. Now the thing is what caused the Cascadia subduction zone to rupture now, or being close to rupturing. In my opinion, that also has to deal with the pole shift. That also has to deal with the plasma or the magma underneath in our crust or in the center of our Earth that's moving. More volcanoes have had major eruptions this year than any other year. So, in my opinion, where the magma is moving, our iron core is moving, and our magnetic pole is moving and drifting away, is causing our plates to move, and it's causing more eruptions. Now, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people think it's been 728,000 years since the Wanda Fucas or since a pole shift has happened. And that's not true. If you learn about how geologists gather information from geological record of a magnetic pole reversal, it's hard to tell. Basically, it's hard to tell, and basically they can't hardly go back that far to see a magnetic reversal. They can only see which direction the North Pole is pointed in lava. That's it. Once it's hardened rock, limestone, like you pick up a rock, there's no way to tell. There's no way to tell by looking at one rock that you pick up that the iron in that rock, which direction that magnetic pole is pointing. There's no way to tell that. And I've actually investigated this myself. So basically, the last account of anything like that happening came at a time that's in one book, and there's proof in one book that a magnetic pole shift may have happened, and that was in the Bible. And it's a lot of scientists are agreeing with this, and are agreeing with the last magnetic pole shift, which was 12,000 years ago, and evidence and proof of that, of a catastrophic event during that time, was basically Noah's flood. So back to what I was talking about, the ETS event. Basically, geologists and geologists from the Canadian Survey basically told me in the email that they can tell by the type of ETS event that they could tell by that particular ETS event that when the Cascadia subduction zone is going to rupture. So it's just kind of weird that all of a sudden they're starting to basically the United States government and FEMA are all starting to prepare for an event, the Cascadia event. They're not preparing for anything else hardly. Now, there's a lot of things going on in Antarctica. The military's putting a lot of stock in Antarctica and the Arctic Circle. I had a person on Twitter the other day tell me about, try to tell me that the United States doesn't have military launch locations in Antarctica and the Arctic, and they do. The United States government has over 50 satellite launch locations for anything and everything. Even NASA's part of the ones in Antarctica too. They can launch anything and everything from their bases in the Arctic or Antarctica, and they're putting a lot of stock in those areas. And a lot of this military equipment that you see is moving around. It's being put onto ships, and those ships are undocking, leaving, and then they're not showing up anywhere else to unload. And they can, you could track those ships and see where they're going, especially if they're not on mission. Now, they basically, somebody could report that they saw, it's hard to miss a big ship, a big Navy ship in a port. The public in any country can snap a picture saying, this ship's here, this ship's here, this ship's here. And that's not happening. Usually somebody snaps a picture of a U.S. military ship in port somewhere. Well, nobody is snapping any pictures because they're not going to the countries, in the equatorial part of the globe. So basically, the only other two places they could go is either Antarctica or the Arctic. And I asked, I asked the seismologist from Canada. I asked her if anything else was going on with the pole shift, and she said she would get back to me, pass it on to a colleague. And because she wasn't sure of anything, but she didn't tell me anything, but that colleague hasn't gotten back to me, so I'm gonna message her. I'm gonna email her back and figure out what's going on with the to see if I can get any information on the pole shift. So a lot of people don't know that there's a lot of books that came out that the CIA had classified, and one of them belonged to I forget his name, but it's called the Adam and Eve story. And it was basically a 43-page book. It was a 43-page book written by an investigative scientist and basically they ripped out pages. They asked Chan Thomas, basically said they asked him to look into pole reversals and magnetic shifts and asked him to look into that stuff, and he basically wrote a book about it. He was part of a big research team with the United States government, and basically the one part of the book, the CIA had went and bought every copy from the publisher from Chan Thomas's The Adam and Eve story, and bought every copy and sanitized it and kept it forever, and then ripped a few pages out, 5 or 6 pages out, and then released it sometime I guess 2016 they released it. And there was something in that book, or I'm sorry, 2013. So sometime there was something in that book that a scientist had written about that they didn't want to get out to the public about a pole shift or a magnetic reversal or something about the Earth. Something about a catastrophic event that was going to happen in the near future, or that could happen in the near future. Some say it has to do with I forget the name of the some say it has to do with the movement of a nut, or the way a nut or bolt moves in space by accident, and it had reversed. It had flipped. It would basically spin like this straight, and then all of a sudden it would flip over and spin the other direction. And they thought that maybe the Earth would do the same thing. Now, that's what's said to be in the missing pages of Chan Thomas's book, The Adam and Eve Story. And actually, Russia kept that classified for so many years because Russian astronauts are actually the ones who figured that out. And then they turned around and thought that may happen to the Earth once the magnetic poles flipped. They thought the Earth might flip itself. And they said, well, the scientists researched it, which I don't know how they researched it, but they turned around and said that couldn't happen to the Earth. Well, that's what's said to be in the missing pages of Chan Thomas's research of the Adam and Eve story. So, to me, I feel like the pole shift or the magnetic reversal, I don't know why they call it a magnetic reversal, because it's not reversing. Reversing would insinuate that it would be reversing to a normal state, meaning it started out in one state, in the original state, and now it has reversed back to that state. So basically I'm saying that the North Pole and South Pole were the current poles are not the original position that they're supposed to be in, and they are reversing back to the original. That's what reverse means. It means going backwards. I mean, maybe that's not the way it works, but to me, but I mean, reverse. But I guess you could look at reverse as two types of a reversal, as two types of different meanings. So I don't know whether they mean a reversal back, as in it's going back to the original way it was, or reversal as in going backwards. So you could take that in two different ways. So, but that's the main thing, and that's why I feel like the government is trying to hide right now, because FEMA's put out a lot of information about EMPs. Now you have to understand that the magnetic reversal has a lot to do with electromagnetic energy. It's got to deal with since 1850, we've lost somewhere along 60% of our magnetic strength around the planet, and over the last 150 years, we've lost 20% of that. So basically, over the last, it was setting at 40%. And over the last 120 years, that has increased to 60%. So the magnetic pole is sitting above, or magnetic north is sitting above Siberia. And once it reaches the 40-degree mark, I feel that it's going to increase. Right now, it's moving about somewhere around 30 miles or 40 miles a month. But I believe that that state will increase. And they say it takes thousands of years for a pole reversal. Well, we don't know that. Nobody knows that. If you have a scientist that tells you that it's going to take 1,000 years for a pole reversal, or they know this for a fact, they've shown no proof of that. There's zero proof. There's no proof of that, and there's no proof that there hasn't been a catastrophic event from a pole reversal. They're just saying that basically scientists have come out with articles telling you that in the mainstream media, but as far as what actually happens, what's the physical reaction of a pole reversal, there's no proof that in any of that that a scientist has. None. Basically, they're just saying, I would rather them say, I don't know what's going to happen. Instead, they're just saying, no, nothing bad's going to happen. So, basically, this is the video I wanted you to watch. So, you see how it flips over itself? They think that that's what is going to happen to the Earth once the magnetic poles flip. Now, Russia's the people who figured this out, and they kept it secret. This is on the International Space Station, but Russia actually figured this out back in the 70s, I think, on another space station that they had. So, and Chan Robinson actually had that's what his theory was that might happen, is the whole Earth would flip. Now, that I don't know if that's going to happen, but, a magnetic pole reversal, it's weakening our magnetic field. Also, the solar storms that are hitting us right now are also weakening our magnetic field. If you watch Blue Kool-Aid or Planet X News, he'll show you that. And several months ago, I had tried to tell Planet X News that I had talked to NASA, and NASA was going to start or stop letting the public get a hold of scientific data from the SOHO websites and the stereo satellites and the stereo A and B satellites. Boom. They did. You can find archive data, but as far as the new data, nothing. You can't get the new data. And it was on their website. So anyway, basically, I'm done for tonight. So I'm gonna jump off this live stream and I'm gonna eat some supper. And I'm glad this live stream went better than the last one. I know that. So if anybody watches the replay, check out Twitter, subscribe to YouTube. This is Disclosure TV, and we are out of here.
May God be with you. This is not a test.
there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass.